1. There are 16 calls in queue, a 6-minute wait time, and about a dozen operators answering calls for 32 hotels. The calls keep coming, but they flow like a river. The shorter the call, the better. There's not enough time to thoroughly screen, so they needed to get the idea, solve the problem, and move on. Though sometimes a call pops up that takes longer than the queue allows. "Operator, this is Davies. How may I assist you, Mrs. Grundle?"
"Oh, thank the heavens someone answered the call. I've been waiting 15 minutes for someone to pick up."
Davies paused a moment, trying to process that statement. He checked the queue, since answering this call, the wait time was down to 5 minutes. Not great, but better than it was 10 minutes earlier. "I'm very sorry about that, ma'am. How can I assist you?" Davies continued to poke around the system and noticed that the Mrs. Grundle had actually been on hold for 6 minutes, as he initially suspected. He waived that fact, though, not worth picking a fight over.
"I need a card sent to my room and 3 other rooms."
"Excellent. Allow me to connect you to the front desk for further assistance. They'll handle all arrangements for delivery."
"Well, I've already waited 12 minutes and I don't want to wait any longer. Can you just pass a message?"
Davies sat momentarily. The call was dragging on longer than the average call already lasts. And despite being an experienced operator, they don't have direct communication with front desk, since it's on the other side of the world. "Absolutely," Davies resolves. Easier said than done, though, because the front desk rarely answers the phone. Davies decided they'd send an email to simplify the process. "I'll pass them the message and someone should give you a call back shortly." Davies didn't know if the front desk would call or not. The pandemic has negatively impacted reliability across the board, so emails and phone calls often go unanswered. However, difficult guests make the system more complicated than it needs to be. Mrs. Grundle begins to rattle off a series of guest rooms and names, which Davies interrupts the guest, acknowledging that they would pass the guest details to the front desk.
"I'm going to bed soon. Just let them know they can drop it off outside the room, and when my roommate needs it, they can bring it in,"
Mrs. Grundle replied.
"I don't want to stay out waiting for a phone call."
Davies sat momentarily, trying to process what the guest asked for. The guest really wanted cots left in the hallway outside separate rooms. It was hard to comprehend the logic. What happens if they disappear? What about exposure to the hallway elements? Heaven forbid a stranger messes with a cot while it sits unattended. "Okay, I can do that," Davies replies. "Is there anything else I can help you with?"
"I need to give you the other guest rooms," Mrs. Grundle said.
Davies muted the microphone and groaned. Ugh. Their attention was divided while Mrs. Grundle was rattling off room numbers. They didn't realize they only had 2 rooms so far. The guests continued to rattle off a series of room numbers and guests, but Davies noted only the room numbers. More often than not, guests give more information than they need to. Mrs. Grundle was no different.
"I don't know what's going on with you people,"
Mrs. Grundle continued after providing the room numbers.
"It took an hour to get checked in last night. There were only 10 people ahead of me. That's 1 person every 6 minutes. Then tonight it took 15 minutes for you to answer the phone today."
Davies mentally noted the time she waited increased from the last time. Maybe it'll be an hour next time, they thought.
"You'll need to tell your manager to hire more people."
Davies remained silent, trying to process what the guest just said. To them, it's all right to be frustrated. It's human. It's natural. But where does the guest get off telling an operator what to do for staffing? They maintained composure, though. "All right, you're all set. I'm going to pass your request on to the front desk, and the cot should be up shortly."
"Don't just pass my request on," Mrs. Grundle replied. "Tell your manager to hire more people. You can't keep people waiting 30 bloody minutes to speak to a live body."
Internally, Davies was screaming. Externally, Davies has been crying the entire time. The manager is hiring, but the pay is uncompetitive, and staffing is a revolving door. All right, I'll pass this information on to the front desk, Davies replied. They were carefully watching their phrasing. They had no intent to tell the manager to hire more staff because the positions are already posted.
It's not right to wait 30 minutes.
I'm sorry about that, Mrs. Grendel. We're working hard to ensure all guests are resolved in a timely manner, Davies replied. Is there anything else we can assist you with at this time?
That's it. Thank you.
2. Now this had to have been a year ago or more, and at the time I was doing tech support for a cell phone carrier. I'm about 20 minutes late to lunch, but the other tech support person isn't back from their break, so I've got to wait a little longer. I get a nice little tech transfer, the lady is nice and over 50. The rep told me she had a pretty easy issue to fix. I'm happy as a clam to take the call. I take a look and it's an iPhone 7, which coincidentally is the last model of iPhone I owned. Nice, okay. Know where all of those buttons are, and I have a simulator for iOS if she's on an outdated version I don't know well. The trouble. Well, it started immediately. I ask her if she has another phone so we can troubleshoot hers. Of course not, they never do. So I tell her, okay, go to your settings menu and we will get started there. She acts surprised and asks me,
You can talk on the phone and use it at the same time?
Well, I do inform her, well, of course you can. That I was about to change her life for the better if she hadn't known before now. I tell her to go ahead and hit the home button and to go to the main menu.
The hang up button? Are you gonna call me back?
What? I tell her no, under that, the physical button located between the screen and the bottom of the screen. But she still doesn't understand. I spend the next 10 minutes trying to explain that there is a physical button on the front of her phone that she can press, and it will take her back to her home screen, regardless of what she is doing. I explain if she had a newer phone, there wouldn't be a physical button, but still how to press the home button. Still nothing. I look, and I'm already at 15 minutes into the call. Finally, she figures it out. And then once she was on the home page, she didn't know how to get to her settings menu. I explain what the app looks like. She doesn't understand what I mean by a gear. And I was just not paid enough to take this hour-long call and be over an hour late with my lunch. So I made an executive decision. You know what, ma'am, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm an Android girl. I think your phone might be running an older version of iOS that I'm not really familiar with. So I'd like to get you over to an Apple specialist. I don't want you wasting your whole day with me.
Oh, honey, thank you. I'd appreciate that. I really don't know much about phones.
Okay, great. Thank you for letting me try and help you. I'm going to explain to them what's going on and send you over. Have a great day. You me calling up Apple, telling them, yeah, I'm tech and I use Android. Her issue is this. Okay, thanks, bye, and transfer her right over. Did I feel bad? Only very little. Sometimes you have to admit you're out of your depth on a call, and when that time comes, well, a good old transfer to manufacturer will have to do. 3. So I had this caller yesterday. He locked himself out of a DocuSign. You need a password. Also, I work for a brokerage firm. He states that the last CSR he spoke with gave him the wrong information. I go ahead and tell him the right information, and tell him I can walk him to the correct information, and he says no. Here's how the conversation went from there. I don't want to see that. I want to speak with a supervisor. Absolutely, I can try to get one on the line. I can't guarantee that I can, but if not, it's okay if they call you back. No, I'm not getting off this line until I speak with a supervisor. I'm willing to wait up to an hour. You my shocked Pikachu face. Sir, I can't wait an hour on hold for a supervisor. What, do you get paid by the call? No, sir. If I'm not actively helping you, I need to be in queue to take other calls from the 800 line. So what? You're telling me you never had an hour-long call before? I absolutely have, but I was actively helping to solve an issue. walking them to the resources or researching for them, not just waiting on hold for an hour. It pretty much goes back and forth like that, and I tell him I could get fired if QA listens to the call and I'm just on hold. It's not true, but I needed something extreme to get him off my line. Tired of arguing, I say, "Sure, let me get you a supervisor," and I put him on hold. I reached out to our helpline, which we escalate to. I called 4 times and no answer. I reach out to my assistant manager, as he is the next in line to reach out to. I explain the whole thing, and he tells me I can't stay on hold an hour, and he's busy at the moment, he will call them back. I explained that to him multiple times, and he won't take that for an answer. Crickets. I look at the previous CSR's notes, and turns out she did tell him the right info. She even included the email with timestamp and everything on it, with the document I was going to walk him to as well, so I go back to the caller. So, I did just want to let you know I checked the previous person's notes, and it does seem she gave you the correct information, and even emailed you the correct document at this specific time. Are you sure you still want a supervisor? Seeing as he wanted a supervisor since he says he was given the wrong info. Yes. Okay, not a problem. I'm going to place you back on hold if that's okay. So I chill. I watch TikTok videos while I keep this man on hold for a good 30 minutes without checking in with him. We normally have to check in every 5 minutes. I then try the helpline again and finally get someone. I'm able to explain the situation to get the man transferred. Helpline reaches out to me half an hour later and says the man just wanted to rent, and when they offered to try and get the lockout fixed, the caller said no, they would just follow my instructions. What the actual heck? All that to not take the extra help when offered? 4. I work for escalations, and we're mostly dealing with complaints and vulnerable customers. We are trained to treat people with respect and with extra patience, as our primary goal is to lessen legal complaints. I kind of see our team as the risk management team. Process-wise, only supervisor calls can be transferred to us, as any incorrect transfers that will lead to legal complaints will definitely cost us our revenue, as our client would penalize us by refusing to shoulder the fees. With that in mind, I'd like to share the story of my VIP customer. Now, I have this customer who refuses to speak to anyone unless it's from the higher-ups. They would complete the normal verification process, but would refuse to let anyone assist them, including supervisors, unless they'll be transferred to us. Now, this call was transferred to me by a front-of-house agent, not by a supervisor. When I asked why, they told me to check the account, and I found out that all contacts the customer has made are handled by our team. Why? I don't really know. Even normal requests like rescinding the bills are being handled by us, as they are really refusing to be assisted by the customer service agents, refusing to utilize our automated systems, refusing to check or use our websites, even if he has the capacity to do so according to him, because I'm paying you to treat me like a real customer. Like, how the hell were you being treated by our front-of-house agents? Well, being in escalations, I humored this customer, and requested for a call recording while I was assisting them with fixing their billing concern. They are really mad that their quarterly billing utility was estimated as they are not at home because they're at a holiday, but a caretaker is apparently at home, but can only access their garden outside their gated property. Meter is on the inside, and even though, as per their contract, they're obligated to provide clear access to their meter to avoid estimates, they're refusing to do so, as they're not mostly at home. Now, I've arranged a special reading for this customer, waived the fees as we are not properly doing our jobs, and agreed to provide a clear access to the meter by providing this key to the caretaker. Now, while waiting for the completion of this request, I was able to obtain sample copies of their conversation with our front-of-house agents. And this customer, sorry for the word, but they're basically terrorizing our front-of-house teams. would always say they would sue them if they won't be transferred to us, etc. Everyone's nice to them, everyone's overworked, but would still treat them with respect even if they don't really deserve it. Everyone would offer all the things they can, but they would really refuse to speak with them. And when I later asked why, they told me one of the things I despised the most. They work overseas. They most likely wouldn't understand me. Now, I also work overseas. Everyone on our team works overseas. So what's the difference? Oh, I believe you will be held more accountable if something happens in my account. Why are you even doing business with us if you don't trust us? The thing, though, sabotaging an account is almost close to impossible, as everything in our workspace is being recorded, whether we're speaking with someone or not. And with how they're doing, refusing clear access and etc., being it included in the contract, they're more likely going to lose an illegal complaint than us being penalized by the client. And yes, as expected, this customer lied and did not provide the access to the property, and their complaint with the bill was not fully sorted out, as they're refusing all the options we are providing them. We couldn't magically obtain the reads in their meter if they're not allowing us, and it's not our fault. I would love to provide them the contact number of where they can file a legal complaint, so they'll be told that they're actually at fault and they're abusing their rights as a customer. That even if they are a customer, they also have obligations that need to be met, as stipulated by the contract. I would really love to hear them complain back to us just so I can hear them rant about how incompetent everyone is, when they're failing to see that they are the problem and not everyone else. But I could no longer contact them, as their number is not accepting incoming calls. 5. So I've been doing tech support at Large Corp for about a year. This is an internal line, front desk triage. I don't know how to do my job helpline. Many of the things my users call for help on are self-serve service solutions at Large Corp domain sites. Most of these issues are solved by telling the user to navigate to service.largecorp.com, and I walk them through some next buttons and a form. Here's today's tale. I shall be me. They shall be caller. Thank you for calling Large Corp. This is Saintarium. How can I help you? I need to get into Service 1. It's not working on my device. Not a problem. Have you gone to service1.largecorp.com yet? No, I'm on my device. On your desktop, could you open IE for me? Minimal fuss here. They seem to know how to open IE, and unlike some, they find the URL bar without playing Bing Bingo. Okay, now please type service1.largecorp.com in and hit enter. Okay, service1@largecorp.com. Oh, hold on. It's .largecorp.com. Oh, okay. .@largecorp.com. No, it's just .largecorp.com. So where do I put the @ There aren't any ats at all. It's just service1, largecorp.com. We arrive eventually, and it turns out caller did not even have Service 1, so I was forced to take them to the service2.largecorp.com site to request it. Luckily, by this time, the caller's need for the @ sign in URLs had subsided greatly. Surprisingly, the response at largecorp.com is not uncommon, though this is the first time I've gotten .at. None of the services have names that sound like @. But I'd say a good third of users hear it as such. It's a phenomena experienced by my coworkers daily as well. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Please Hold, episode 19. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use and sent in stories for use in this video. If you enjoyed the video, then I'd appreciate it if you give it a like, shared it around with everyone you know. Even your fish, if they happen to know how to work a computer or a smartphone. Okay, now, we are on... I've been informed by a moderator that sometimes, that when they listen to the videos, the day is always wrong. So I'm not saying what day it is. We all know what day it is. Yep, not saying it. I am, however, going to give a birthday shout-out. At least one. I might have two. Let's see. It's very exciting. Oh no, it's just one today. Okay. And then we have some more later in the month. Okay, and today's shout-out goes to... Angharad Mac. Just Angharad, they go by. We'll see if we can fit that into happy birthday. Like Avatar The Last Airbender, which I've never seen, but I appreciate the help. Okay, now we are clicking on lots of things and losing my place. Okay, now make sure, Ang, that you're having super, super awesome fun times today. Maybe there's a cake in the shape of an Avatar bendy thing. Again, I don't know what it's about. It's about people going whoosh, I think. And bending stuff like fire and water. I know that much. That much is crept into my consciousness. But whatever you do, make sure you're treating yourself or you're letting other people treat you. That's also kind of awesome. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Angharad. Happy birthday to you. Excellent. All right. I'm going to wrap things up for there now. Sorry, I got discombobulated. I'm going to wrap things up there for now. Go edit stuff. Then possibly shove food in my face. Just kind of sit in the sofa and go, cool. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to go do that. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.